Tonight, a prison sentence for sexual exploitation. The latest in the case of a once widely respected Waterloo Region musician. Students united against provincial cuts to OSAP.
Without kind of the help from OSAP, that it's like your whole plan is basically, or your whole future is kind of just like up in the air.
The message from Waterloo Region today to the Premier. Plus, pickup delayed.
We're looking at day 2 of garbage just sitting out attracting this wildlife.
So far, we're waiting. I'm sure they'll get around to it.
Working out the wrinkles.
Some areas were missed though, but it was a very long day for the contractor.
In the region's new curbside collection system. Good evening. A once widely respected musician in Waterloo Region is going to prison. Stephen Lehman was sentenced today after pleading guilty to the sexual exploitation of a teen girl. And we should warn you, this story does contain details of the crime that were presented in court. Let's go to CTV's Krista Simpson now, who was in the courtroom as the judge handed down that sentence today. Joining us now with more of those details. Krista.
Tony, both the Crown and defense agreed Lehman should be sent to prison. What they didn't agree on was for how long. In the end, the judge went with the higher recommendation due to the gravity of the offense. Court heard that starting in 2008, Stephen Lehman had regular sex with a 16-year-old girl. He was 20 years older than her. Over a 9-month period, they had intercourse about 40 times. He was arrested and charged in 2024. In December 2025, Lehman pleaded guilty to the sexual exploitation of a teen. During sentencing submissions in February, the Crown asked for 5 years behind bars, saying Lehman groomed and manipulated the teen, and the degree of physical interference was high. The defense argued for 2 to 3 years, saying Lehman would not repeat the behavior and has faced serious professional ramifications. A well-known figure and contributor to the arts community, Lehman co-founded the Renaissance School of the Arts as well as KW Glee. Court heard he is no longer affiliated with those organizations and has lost his businesses, roles and reputation as a result of his actions. Justice Nicole Redgate ultimately sided with the Crown, handing Lehman a 5-year sentence. He was given 3 days credit for time spent in custody. I consider the gravity of the offense to be high, the judge said while delivering the decision. I consider Mr. Lehman's degree of responsibility to be high. Justice Redgate said Lehman exploited a position of trust for criminal purposes. The facts established that Mr. Lehman's conduct was calculated. He groomed, pushed boundaries, and emotionally manipulated the teen over a matter of months, adding that Lehman and the teen had intercourse at least every other week for several months. This was not an isolated or brief lapse in judgment. The judge said Lehman's actions caused the victim profound, multifaceted harm, impacting her mental health, work, and other relationships. Lehman also faces a DNA order and will be listed on the sex offender registry for 20 years. The judge noted Lehman is a first-time offender who pleaded guilty, though that happened not long before the matter was to go to a trial. But the judge says it does appear there is a reasonable prospect of rehabilitation for Lehman, and he has supportive friends and family. Tony.
Krista, thank you. CTV's Krista Simpson with that report. In York Region, police have charged a Coptic church priest from East Gwillimbury in a historic sexual assault case involving a minor. 47-year-old Michelle Shafik, who also goes by Michael, is facing sexual assault and sexual interference charges. Police say the investigation began in November when a victim came forward claiming they had been assaulted by Shafik twice between 1996 and 1999. The victim was under 16 years old at the time.
We are highlighting the fact that he is now a priest as he's become a person that's in a position of authority. But at the time of these sexual assaults, he was not a priest. Again, we're talking more than 25 years ago now at this point. But it is something that we want to make sure the public is aware of and that the Coptic community is aware of, as we are concerned that there may be additional victims.
And police looking for anyone who may have information about this case. Security alerts affecting 6 schools in Kitchener today as regional police were dealing with a weapons call. Forest Heights Collegiate Institute and 5 nearby elementary schools went into a hold and secure, closing their doors as a precaution, as police warned about an increased presence in the Fisher-Hallman Road and Queens Boulevard area. 15 minutes after alerting the public, police confirmed 1 person had been arrested and that there was no longer a concern for public safety, though they didn't share any details about the incident or the arrest. A Kitchener intersection was closed during the morning commute after a 3-vehicle collision. It happened at Huron and Trussler Roads around 7:30 this morning, leaving a roof torn off one of the vehicles and debris scattered on the road. A 30-year-old Kitchener man was taken to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the investigation is ongoing and charges are expected. A school bus carrying students collided with a tractor-trailer near Seaforth this morning. 2 students and both drivers receiving minor injuries in that crash. Provincial police say heavy fog is partly to blame. CTV's Scott Miller has more on the investigation.
A severely damaged school bus is towed from the scene just a few hours after being T-boned by a tractor-trailer just north of Seaforth this morning.
A tractor-trailer hit the bus about midway up the frame and spun the bus right around. So all 3 occupants of the bus were injured, thankfully with minor injuries. They've been treated locally at the Seaforth Hospital. The driver of the truck received minor injuries as well.
The collision happened shortly after 8 o'clock this morning after police say the school bus entered the intersection of North Line and Summerhill Road. There were only 2 high school students on the bus at the time of the collision, which closed a section of North Line for the entire morning.
I understand the collision happened just after 8 a.m., so that may have been at the start of the pickup route. But yes, if the school was full of children on board, I did see earlier some of the windows had blown out of the side of the school bus here. So glass, just the fact the impact itself would have been quite a violent impact. So this could have been much worse. Bad enough, but yes.
It was extremely foggy at the time of the crash, say police, canceling several, but not all school buses in Huron County.
This could have been a lot worse. We do know that fog was a factor at the time. There was thick fog in the area, so that'll be taken a look at as well.
This isn't the only school bus involved collision or crash this month in our region. A school bus carrying 40 children careened into a ditch near Woodstock 2 weeks ago. That, along with more drivers running school bus stop signs, has prompted a school bus safety blitz by the West Region OPP this week.
We've noted, I think, in excess of 30 school bus-related collisions in the last few months in our region alone. And it's just so much damage and potential for injury here, and we just have to do something about it. So the OPP is going to be out there keeping an eye.
Police say no charges have been laid as a result of the collision this morning as of yet. A collision that most certainly could have been worse, potentially fatal. Near Winthrop, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Okay, time now to join Ashley Bacon on location tonight for a first look at the weather. And Ash, before we get into those gorgeous conditions we saw outside today, you've got something going on that's kind of cool there inside. This is all in support of Kids Ability in Kitchener.
Okay, we're going to try something. You got it, Tony. It's the plasma car races that are happening tonight. Now, with the goal of raising over $100,000, you can see behind me so many participants. We're about 120 participants, just over 20 corporate teams taking part, all in support of Kids Ability. What's great are the amazing costumes and attitude and fun that is happening here, and it wouldn't happen without the folks at Pure Group. I want to introduce you to Astrid, who is one of the title sponsors for the event. Astrid, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us. It's wonderful.
This is a fantastic event. Why is it the 4th year that you guys have been involved?
So, quite a number of years ago, an employee had a little girl who required the services of Kids Ability. We wanted to support our employee, and we started then contributing to and donating to Kids Ability. So we participated in the events a number of years ago, but then my daughter and I ran them a couple of years in a row. We had the pandemic, and now I'm back doing it again. So it's a wonderful event.
That's awesome. And just quickly, $100,000, do you think we'll make that target tonight?
Look, this is the best event at 2 hours, and we will raise more than $100,000 for sure.
Oh, there you go. You've got it first, Tony, but let's check on clear. We're starting to get a bit of cloud cover move in. That's going to continue. And just after midnight, we're looking at some rain that is going to make its way into the picture. So tomorrow, you're going to want to pack your umbrellas, maybe your rubber boots. It's going to be a bit muddy out there. Tomorrow morning, however, it might be a little cold as temperatures get down. You might see a bit of icy conditions on the roadways and walkways. So do take care tomorrow morning. Right now, though, in Waterloo Region, believe it or not, we're still sitting at a very comfortable 6 degrees, a very calm 7-kilometer-an-hour wind, Tony. So right now, you know, as great as the weather is outside, all of this excitement is happening inside, and I can't wait to show you who is the big winner in just a little while. Hopefully we'll have it just in time for our main weather.
Yeah, it sure sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, Ash, thank you. We'll check back in with you in just a little while. That's Ashley Bacon on location tonight. More than 1,000 students marched outside today at the University of Waterloo with a message to Premier Ford. They are upset about changes to the Student Assistance Program, OSAP, which will mean more repayable loans and fewer grants. CTV's Jeff Pickle was at the rally today. Jeff, what were you hearing from the students who were there?
Well, Tony, a lot of anger and frustration, also fear and concern about what this will mean for their financial outlook post-graduation. The province says the old model was unsustainable, and this is a change needed to ensure the future of post-secondary education in the province. The voices were numerous and loud on the University of Waterloo campus. Around 1,000 students walking out of class today to protest the Ford government's changes to OSAP funding.
Because what we're seeing is that students are angry in ways that we haven't seen at this campus in decades. Students rely on this funding to get through their lives, and these cuts are unbelievable.
Under the old program, students could receive 85% of their funding through grants, the other 15% through loans, while the new system will allow only 25% through grants and the remaining 75% through repayable loans.
I've been on OSAP since first year, and right now I worked 2 jobs.
For students like Belinda and Zaina, money is tight.
No, I can't even imagine. If it's only loans, dude, I'd be so screwed. Like, I can't even imagine. Like, I'm actually so scared for that.
They say crushing debt post-graduation is now a major concern.
If I can't find a job and then I have all this debt, I don't know how I'll just move on with life. And then, like, there's so much pressure to, like, think about the future, and it's more distressing right now.
According to the province, the changes are necessary to fix an unsustainable program.
The changes we have made to OSAP are to ensure the sustainability. The funds will be available to the students that need them with the changes that we're making. They're just going to make a little bit of a bigger investment into their future career earnings.
The province says this year OSAP cost the province around $2.7 billion and could hit over $4 billion before 2030.
We have won against this government.
Waterloo MPP Catherine Fife spoke at the rally saying fixing the funding model should not be placed in the backs of students.
I'm here today because this government is punching down on students in an affordability crisis and downloading more debt and more costs to, this institution and to these students.
For students at the rally, they're hopeful the Ford government will reconsider. Of Waterloo was not alone today in their rally. Students at several other schools across the province voiced their frustration, but so far the government seems unswayed to change its course of action. Tony.
Okay, Jeff Pickle on those protests against the OSAP changes today. Jeff, thank you. And the Ford government has announced a review of EQAO testing in schools. The province is creating an advisory body to look into the standardized testing and how Ontario can improve outcomes for students. EQAO results released in December showed half of grade 6 students and 42% of grade 9 students were not meeting the provincial standard in math. And the Education Minister, Paul Calandra, released a statement reading in part, "Student achievement must always come first in Ontario's education system." Our government will continue using every tool available to keep Ontario's education system focused on accountability and a back-to-basics approach to support student achievement so that students can reach their full potential and be prepared for good-paying, rewarding careers. Well, now to the conflict in the Middle East. Tehran and other Iranian cities are still under bombardment from the U.S. and Israel. Iran is retaliating, targeting Israel, Arab nations with U.S. bases, and now Turkey, a NATO member country. Tonight, both Americans and Canadians are being urged to find a way out of the region. CTV's Adrian Gobriel files this update from Istanbul.
Pulled from the waters along the southern coast of Turkey, this is the remains of a NATO interceptor missile that knocked an Iranian attack out of the sky. Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan saying his country is in close consultation with NATO allies while warning Iran a similar incident cannot occur again. In Iran, thunderous explosions echoed across the besieged nation as Israeli forces confirm they've begun a 10th wave of strikes, with U.S. forces hitting deeper into the country. In the 5 days since this war broke out, more than 1,000 people have been killed in Iran, according to a U.S.-based human rights organization. In Lebanon, smoldering debris sends smoke billowing into the sky in Beirut, where the IDF has vowed to uproot Iranian-backed Hezbollah after it launched strikes into Israel.
The numbers are increasing. We have more than 80,000 people, including 24,000 children, forcibly displaced in Lebanon. Many were still displaced since the previous escalation.
This video shared by the U.S. Department of Defense showing the moment a U.S. submarine sank an Iranian warship. The bodies of some 80 sailors reported dead at sea, located by rescuers along the southern coast of Sri Lanka. With 3 other NATO nations, Greece, Britain, and France, sending naval and air force personnel to Cyprus following Iranian drone attacks there, this expanding conflict has reached new shores. More than 100,000 Canadian citizens and permanent residents in the Middle East have registered with Global Affairs Canada. CTV News visited the Canadian consulate in Istanbul to try and ask questions on behalf of Canadians stuck in the midst of this conflict. Passport in hand, security inside this building refused to allow us to enter the consulate. Our request to interview Canada's ambassador to Turkey was also denied.
This is Adrian Gobriel with CTV National News.
One official speaking on background tells CTV News that a range of options are being looked at to help evacuate Canadians by land and air, while assisting those in Iran remains the most difficult, without an embassy inside that country. With war on the horizon, a sunset call to prayer preaches peace in a region and a world where tonight it's in very short supply.
The attempted missile strike here in Turkey makes this the 11th country targeted by Iran since this war began. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Istanbul.
Feeling blindsided by reports of burnout. Coming up, CTV's Spencer Turcotte takes a closer look at an issue that's suddenly become a hot topic at Cambridge City Hall.
I'm Alexandra Hollick. Also tonight, taking a look at day 2 of Waterloo Region's new cart collection program. We break down the delays, the difficulties, and what taxpayers can expect in the days to come. That story is just ahead.
Well, things are heating up in here and cooling off outside. Will we have spring-like weather for the rest of the week? Those details and your full weather forecast coming up. Stay with us.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
Well, this is day 2 of the region of Waterloo's new waste collection system, and the rollout's been off to a bit of a rocky start. Delays in pickup yesterday spilled over into today, causing concerns, confusion, and some frustration. Let's head over to CTV's Alexandra Hollick now, who's been tracking the program's progress for us today. Alexandra, spoke with some residents who were supposed to get their carts collected yesterday but didn't.
That's right, Tony. They were told by the region to put their carts out again today so they can be collected. But they say they hope issues like these don't become part of their new routine. Matthew Jasnik is rolling out his cart to the curb for the second day in a row. His collection day was Tuesday, but the garbage was never picked up.
My bins did go out after 5 p.m. on Monday evening as per the instructions, and they're still there.
Jasnik says he lives in a wooded part of Cambridge and is concerned over wildlife getting into his waste.
I do have skunks very prominently on my property on and around garbage day. They indicated that I should just leave my bin at the curb, again sort of exasperating this problem where wildlife is being attracted.
In Waterloo, it's a waste collection waiting game.
Has your garbage been picked up?
No, it has not been picked up yet.
So far, we're waiting. I'm sure they'll get around to it.
With overflowing carts lining streets.
It's just kind of hard trying to place it here with all the snowbanks that we've had, and then also playing move around bin with trying to exit the driveway.
The region of Waterloo says it's working on it.
At the beginning, it was a little bit of a slower start, but you can imagine once they get more into the rhythm of things, it picked up a lot faster.
And any carts that weren't collected on day 1 should be on day 2.
We do want to give the contractor as much time as possible to get their crews out, to collect as much as possible.
To help with the rollout, the contractor brought on additional support to its 80-truck fleet.
Our contractor did bring in extra trucks, though. They brought in more just to help with the service in the region because of picking up garbage as well this week for both zones.
And while operators and residents get used to the new routine, the region is thanking people for their patience.
We hope that, once you roll out your carts, things will go smoothly. But again, it's week 1 and everyone's getting used to the groove of things.
The region is asking residents who didn't get their carts collected on their designated day to keep them at the curb. And we have more details on the rollout and everything you need to know on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
That's a story a lot of people are talking about. Okay, Alexandra, thank you. CTV's Alexandra Hollick with day 2 of the new cart collection system. Officials in Cambridge say city staff are walking a fine line between taking on new projects and burning out. The issue seemed to catch some councillors off guard, leading to tensions at a recent meeting. CTV's Spencer Turcott explains.
That staff investigate the feasibility of a variety of different placemaking options concerning the 3 fountains at 35 Pine Bush Road.
Councillor Scott Hamilton thought his motion regarding Cambridge's Gateway fountains would be a slam dunk. After all, he didn't feel he was asking for much.
All my motion was asking for was just a staff report.
The ask, more complicated than he anticipated. The conversation quickly shifted to debate over a growing workload and limited staff capacity.
There is a significant amount of feasibility work that would need to go into this. So we would need to be looking to hire a external consultant contractor.
City Manager Rob Axiak said they were facing a real capacity issue for staff to successfully deliver on motions right now. Cambridge's Mayor Jan Liggett weighed in.
We have staff going off on leave. A lot of it's stress leave. They can't deal with it.
Word of this blindsided Hamilton, who says it was the first he had heard of any staffing troubles.
That definitely caught me off guard. I'd never heard about that before. I engaged about 5 senior staff over the course of the past few months.
Had he known, he said he would have adjusted the motion beforehand so that it didn't derail the conversation. He wasn't alone, though. Councillor Corey Kimson faced similar concerns with her motion to introduce the Hidden Disability Sunflower Program.
There are some constraints right now in terms of workload that I can share, election being one of them. After our research, it would be approximately $20,000 to roll out such a program.
Kimson said meetings with staff and the Sunflower organization did not reveal that high of a cost.
That was very different information than what I had going into that council meeting. Staff were telling me they were supportive of the motion and of the program.
Following the meeting, the city manager posed the question to his LinkedIn followers. Is there a way to explain to council the reality of staff capacity when new projects and motions continue to come forward? Both Hamilton and Kimson say it only would have taken a quick conversation ahead of the meeting, so they understood the current staffing pressures.
As councillors, it's our job as representatives of the community to bring forward work or to bring forward ideas.
This will ultimately be something that will benefit the city because we'll learn how to work together better.
Both motions are still alive, just with some minor amendments, but the broader conversation about staff capacity and council priorities has just scratched the surface. Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Cambridge.
Here's a live look at downtown Kitchener from our tower camera. Just starting to lose the last little bit of daylight right now after an absolutely stunning day out there today. I don't think you could have asked for more sunshine, better temperatures, considering what we've had lately. Ashley's back to tell us about the forecast for the rest of the week in just a few minutes. Also ahead, should we still be springing forward and falling back? BC's decision to do away with clock changing, raising new questions about whether it's time for Ontario to abandon it as well. But next, Prime Minister Carney reveals more about his recent conversations with Donald Trump and Xi Jinping. Okay, Ashley Bacon on location tonight at the Catalyst building in Kitchener, bringing us our weather live from a very cool event. You've just wrapped up some plasma car races in support of Kids Ability Foundation. Ash, how did it all go?
Oh, Tony, it has been such a great event here. As you can see, there are still so many people out here celebrating. As you mentioned, we just wrapped up, and I'm going to bring in Paige, who is the Director of Philanthropy for Kids Ability Foundation. Paige, what a cool event today was.
Oh, it's such an energetic, fun, loud event, and we look forward to it every year.
Let's talk about, this is a fundraiser. $100,000 was the goal. Where did we end up?
An incredible $136,000.
That is a huge amount of money. How important is that money, and where is it going to go to?
It's incredibly important that we host events like this to create visibility and awareness in the community and have the corporate community support in that way. And every dollar raised at an event like this goes directly towards pediatric rehabilitation. And demand for our services keeps growing and growing. So that support allows us to focus on reducing wait times and expanding access and creating equality and equitability amongst our clients.
Now, I want to highlight something really cool about a plasma car. You actually use it as part of the therapy program.
That's right. It's a useful tool for kids to use for mobility, for fun, for building coordination and skills. For children with low muscle development who might not be able to use a pedaled car, they can use this and wiggle their way to have some fun.
Now, of course, we know the big winners is really the community of Kids Ability, but there's a little bit of bragging rights on the line. Who won today's races?
I'm very proud to say that Blend Tech won for the second year in a row.
You know, I was watching them, and they took this race very seriously. They were the guys in the cool race outfits. I mean, are you surprised they've come back with such a vengeance to win that title again?
I am not surprised at all. Just their costumes alone as racing gear, their technique of standing on top of the plasma cars, they are not messing around.
Wow, an incredible event. Thank you so much for having us today, Paige.
Thank you for being here.
All right, now, of course, we've got a lot of weather to talk about. It has been an absolutely stunner of a day out there. You would almost think we are in spring, Tony, but we're actually 16 days away from spring. Let's look at our futurecast. Clear skies are going to be a thing of the past in a few hours. Cloud cover making its way in. Overnight, a little rainfall is going to start to take a picture. Thursday, we are expecting some rain to come through Waterloo Region. However, we are only expecting a daytime high of 1 degree tomorrow, and when we hover around that freezing mark, we could see freezing rain and ice build up. So do take care if you're out on the roads. As of right now, we're looking at around 13 millimeters of rain potential with this system that is coming into play. When we look at our almanac for this year, much higher than our normal of 1 degree, but not even close to our record of 20.5 felt back in 2024. Beautiful indeed. As mentioned tonight, temperatures going back down. -3 is the overnight low expected. That could mean all of that melt that happened today could freeze and could cause some slippery roads and walkways. So do take care if you're out over the next 12 hours or so. Tomorrow, periods of rain throughout the day, a high of 1 degree, so back in the range of normal. I know we got a little taste of sunshine and summer-like conditions today, but we're not quite there yet, folks. Looking at our 7-day forecast in Waterloo Region, 8 degrees for your Friday, cloudy conditions, showers returning for Saturday. But look at the temperature, a potential potential 15-degree day, but overnight dropping back down below zero. So again, we're not out of the woods when it comes to winter-like weather just yet. By Sunday, cloudy and 8, and Monday we may see that sun make a return and a high of a very comfortable 13 degrees. In Lambton, Kent, Essex, similar conditions there. Rain expected for the rest of your work week and into the weekend, but check out those double-digit days, Tony. 15 degrees on Friday, 17 on Saturday, 12 on Sunday, 16 on Monday, and 18 potentially on Tuesday. An absolutely incredible number there. I mean, it is still winter, 16 days, as I keep saying. Southern Georgian Bay, 2 degrees for your Thursday with mainly cloudy conditions. Cloud continuing for Friday. Showers on Saturday with 14. A mix of sun and cloud by Sunday and Monday. A high of 8 for Sunday and 10 on Monday. So overall, like I said, we're heating up in here. They're kind of dying down now. Everybody's gone to the party room to celebrate the big win, and of course, some incredible fundraised amounts, Tony, but this isn't the end for us yet. Miss Angie Hill, who is the MC for the night's event, her and I might try and give a race a go a little later in the show. How does that sound?
I have no doubt if Angie's on hand that we haven't seen the end of the fun yet tonight, so we'll look forward to that later. Ash, thanks so much from the Catalyst building, live on location for us tonight. We'll talk to you shortly. Well, Prime Minister Mark Carney is set to address Australia's Parliament later today, but before that, he had a frank conversation, giving some more candid insight into his conversations with U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping. CTV's Abigail Beeman files this report from Sydney.
You don't want to say anything in public that you can't back up.
At a fireside chat at a top Australian think tank, Prime Minister Mark Carney pulled back the curtain on dealing with world leaders, starting with Donald Trump.
It's quite different in private. It's much more. He is more interested in your viewpoint on various things.
While he said Chinese President Xi Jinping spent 10 minutes in his first meeting discussing how he wanted personal interactions to go.
I interpret it, don't lecture me in public, bring issues to me directly.
And when he said central bankers have more fun than prime ministers, illustrated by a story about mixing a time-crunch decision with top European wines, Carney used the F word.
You know, tick, tick, tick. And he's like, well, have this one, but, you know, the Pinot Grigio. And I'm like, and then he finishes it and he says, okay, listen, we have an hour.
Earlier in the day, Carney held a series of meetings and announced a deal to further investments by pension funds in both Australia and Canada. Australia has had trouble entering Canada's market.
I think we've struggled to find the opportunities, and this dialogue is in part about unlocking those opportunities. So as they look to private capital, we really want to be at the front of the queue.
It's no longer what or why, it's how. And that's what the Prime Minister are fixing here, is the how to make sure that they can invest more in Canada. This is good.
And that's music to the ears of this recently retired Canadian couple on holiday in Australia.
So I would love to see more diversification with equal-minded, similar-minded folks like the Australians. That's just a no-brainer.
Canada's Prime Minister will next address Australia's Parliament and meet with their cabinet and Prime Minister. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Sydney.
Just ahead, more unfolding developments relating to the Iran war. Gas prices are up. We will assess the impact the conflict is having on prices and markets here at home.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The Iran war is causing market volatility around the world, and now Canadian drivers are feeling some of that at the pumps, with the average price of gas up nearly 9 cents from the week before. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
Sticker shock at the pump, with prices soaring across the country overnight.
It'll hit everything, like you said, and I expect inflation at 3.5% by the end of the year.
According to GasBuddy.com, drivers in BC and PEI are paying the most, an average of 161.9 cents a litre in BC and 154.2 cents a litre in PEI. Quebec is seeing prices around 152 cents per litre, while Ontario is averaging 136.6 a litre. The lowest prices are in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta.
The longer this conflict goes, the greater the likelihood the price will reach levels that are extraordinarily uncomfortable for most Canadians.
20% of all oil traded passes through the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf, which Iran controls. Tanker traffic has been disrupted, while energy facilities have been attacked. In addition to rising gas prices, the price of diesel has also climbed, which will have a knock-on effect on basically every aspect of the economy.
Without diesel, you don't run your economy, your military, your agriculture, your mining, your forestry, yes, your transportation, and that doesn't just stop at trucks. It also goes into aviation.
And despite being an energy-rich nation, experts say Canadians are unlikely to see any relief at the pumps, as efforts to scale up oil and gas production cannot be done overnight. It's something that doesn't sit well with Luka Mahalik.
The problem is they should have done something 10 years ago, not today. Today, what can you do?
There are concerns the conflict in the Middle East will have an impact similar to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine 4 years ago, when the price of a barrel of oil jumped by 20%. There is more oil at play in this conflict, but analysts say it all depends on how long the war lasts. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
All right, time to recap our top stories. CTV's Colton Weens in studio with us with all the latest. Our top story tonight, a sentencing decision, Colton, for a former Waterloo music instructor.
Yeah, that's right, Tony. Stephen Lehman was sentenced today. Lehman was sentenced to 5 years behind bars after pleading guilty to sexual exploitation of a teen girl. In addition to his prison sentence, Lehman's DNA will be included in the sex offender registry for the next 20 years, and he's forbidden from contacting the victim for the duration of his sentence. Also today, more than 1,000 students at the University of Waterloo walked out of class, protesting the Ford government's changes to OSAP funding. The students denouncing the decision to increase the amount of funding that will be given in repayable loans rather than grants. The province says the changes are needed to ensure the funding remains sustainable.
And on our website, Colton, our digital team has a story about a change that's coming to Southwestern Ontario's famous Swan Parade.
Yeah, that's right. Some changes coming to the Swan Parade in Stratford. Stratford saying that the swans are going to be going to the river just when they feel comfortable with it, instead of having a set date for the parade, so the birds are less stressed by the whole process. For more information on this story, you can scan the QR code on the bottom left of your screen to get this story on our CTV News app or to download the app right now. You can also visit our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
I feel safe in saying this. It's not a bad thing to let the animals have a say.
They'll still be in the water.
There you go. Exactly. Timing might be different, but the tradition will be there. Colton, thanks. Well, March is Fraud Prevention Month, and a new survey finds many Canadians are dealing with fraud fatigue. An RBC survey finds 83% of respondents say it is safest to assume any unexpected calls and messages are scams. Meanwhile, Equifax Canada says 7 in 10 Canadians are worried about identity theft, followed by digital payment scams and investment or romance frauds. Experts warning that artificial intelligence is increasingly being used to create fake legal documents that are more convincing. A majority of Canadians also want banks to implement stronger security measures, and most people want to see mandatory fraud education in schools. Winding up the debate about changing our clocks. Just ahead, the move by British Columbia that's set off some timely new conversations. Daylight saving time begins on Sunday, and in British Columbia, it's going to be the last time people have to change their clocks. That has reignited debate here in Ontario over whether this province should be following suit. CTV's Dave Charbonneau has more on this timely debate.
For most of Shane Fear's life, he's never had to deal with changing to daylight saving time.
I'm from Saskatchewan originally, and so over there they've never had it as far as I know. Well, it takes a little thinking, you know. Spring forward, fall back. What does that mean exactly? It's not a big deal. It's only an hour, right? But at the same time, I feel it's unnecessary.
And the British Columbia NDP government agrees. BC is now switching to permanent daylight time. But this sleep expert says sticking to standard time is best for our health.
The time that we're in now is, the normal time that's dictated by the sun. A lot of people are already sleep deprived, so this kind of worsens that. But also the fact that we're getting more light in the evening, it actually suppresses our sleeping hormones that kind of rise before bedtime and pushes our bedtimes and our sleep times later as well.
As for Ontario, Premier Ford has stated the province is ready to follow BC's lead, but with a major condition: only if Quebec and New York State also follow suit. In a statement from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, they say, while some may be relieved not to change the clocks each year, the lack of coordination with other jurisdictions risks causing confusion and disruption.
The Canadian Federation of Independent Business was upset with the move away from the time change. And when you have different time zones, it increases the chance that that becomes complicated and difficult. So it increases the friction in business transactions, or increases the chances that, your scheduling is going to be disrupted from, an inability to deal with that time change.
Most Ottawa residents we spoke to are in favor of doing away with changing the clocks.
You get screwed up when you have to change your sleep. So don't change your sleep patterns. Everything will be fine.
I absolutely hate it. I don't understand why we have to do that. And everyone's system gets out of whack.
It's a pain. I don't mind the fall back, but the spring ahead's a pain.
I think I'm pretty adaptable myself, so I don't know that I have a real opinion on the matter.
For most Canadians, clocks spring ahead 1 hour this Sunday morning at 2 a.m.
I would like to stop switching. Stop switching. Just keep it, leave it alone.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Lots of thoughts on that, that's for sure. Okay, we'll have more in just a moment, but first let's head back over to the Catalyst building and check in with...
Well, Tony, we are just about to race after this break, and I'll have your wake-up weather with Angie coming up. Stay with us.
Start your night off with E-Talk at 7, followed by Scrub Back in Scrubs at 7:30. Then The Masked Singer at 8, Fear Factor, House of Fear at 9, and cap your night off with Shark Tank at 10.
Tonight, new threats and new strikes in an expanding war. How the chaos in the Middle East is rocking markets and how stranded Canadians are trying to get out. Later on CTV National News, and watch on Crave.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Home of Bounce Mornings with Angie Hill and Sarge. KW's Bounce 99.5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
Okay, let's head back out to Ashley Bacon, and it looks like Angie Hill as well, live on location at the Catalyst building in Kitchener along Glasgow Street. Ash, you know what? If anyone who knows the Catalyst building knows there's always all kinds of energy in that building, tech, innovation, all kinds of cool things going on. Today it was plasma car races in support of kids' ability, yes. And I see you and Angie are on two plasma cars right now.
Yeah, we're gonna duke it out a little bit here, Tony. But before we do that, I know our viewers at home are gonna want to know what they're waking up to weather-wise. Yes. So let's get to that board first, just so our folks at home know it's gonna be around 0 by 10 a.m. and showers. So it's going to be a bit cooler tomorrow morning. We're expecting a little rain overnight by, like I said, around 10 a.m. 0 and showers. So if you're headed out, do take care, because that could mean some slippery conditions. It may turn into freezing rain, so just be careful. But the real heat of the matter is here. Angie, are you ready? We are going to try and race these plasmas. It's harder than it looks.
It is very hard, yeah. So
but it's all for a good cause.
It is,
And let's, I don't know, 3, 2, 1, go.
Right, Apparently, there we go. You got to get your weight down in the, there we go.
Now, Angie, while we're doing this.
I'm pulling away.
Why is it that you like to MC this event every year? What is it about this particular event that makes you want to be a part of it?
Well, first of all, Kids Ability, I do believe, are the unsung heroes of Waterloo Region. They do so much for children, you know, that have disabilities. But at the end of the day, by going to Kids Ability, it actually takes a disability that they had into an ability. It's right in their name. It's an amazing thing. So I don't know. I just love these charities that you actually see growth, and you can look at the children that have used Kids Ability and see where they've been and where they are now, and it's amazing. You know,
absolutely.
So they need help. So I'm glad that we can do this.
Fantastic. And obviously, you know, we're not going to be the big winners of this race. This is just for fun. The big winners are, of course, the Kids Ability community. A really amazing amount of money was raised today.
Yeah. What, like almost $140,000 today?
That's incredible, Tony. So you know what? Like I said, the big winners are the Kids Ability community. We are just the lucky ones that get to have fun on these sweet cars.
Absolutely.
I know you're jealous. You want to be here with us.
Very, very well put by Angie as well. Ash, you know the story that came to mind when I saw you on the plasma car is the little engine that could. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can.
I feel like him.
Lots of fun and
you're
a great night. Yeah, a great night in support of Kids Ability. Thanks so much, Ash. That's going to do it for us tonight. We will see you back here tonight at 11:30, right after the CTV National News. Have a good night.